Hi, what can we get started for you today?
Let me get a number two with a large black coffee, please.
That will be $6.66.
Wait, I've heard your voice before. Didn't you used to work at like 911?
Sir, that will be $6.66.
But the guy with the horns, he wouldn't let me turn it off.
$6.66.
Oh my God. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Who has got the best intro in town? You know it's Murder Metal Mayhem. I'm here to see you all again. And for you first timers out there in the crowd, hang on tight for a white knuckle trip with me today, talking about some true crime craziness. This video will be less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds, or it's free. Had somebody message me about that. They love that I say that it's free. So it's free today, just like it always is. If it's over, no one else could give you such an insane offer. And I am wearing another band shirt today. It's Venom, the UK pioneers of black metal. Definitely love some Venom. Now, do me a favor and hit that like button before we go. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider doing that before you leave today. That would be helpful. And if you want to leave a comment, that helps the video get out there to more people. So thank you. Now, this episode is brought to you by a new summer treat that is sure to, please the kids and give them a brain freeze. It's the Frozen Shock Phase Bar. You can get it in Balaclava Black or Moscow Berry, whichever you prefer. Supplies are limited. All right. Now, most of us following the Idaho 4 case have wondered about the guilty plea from Brian Kohberger and how it was going to impact things in the case. Does that mean everything's over with? Well, what's going to happen? But wait, what other things are we talking about? Well, I mean, if you go by Bill Thompson and Judge Hippler, and I'm saying that hereafter they should be known as Billipler, there's nothing else to see here in the Idaho 4 crimes, okay? Kohberger admitted to it, and that's that. We all know that pleading guilty and admitting guilt are two very different things. And Idaho law requires a defendant to answer without hesitation and to the affirmative the questions about, what he was asked during that plea agreement signing. I covered why a person who is innocent could possibly plead guilty in a video I just did yesterday. We know sometimes defendants are in a situation where the punishment feared is the one that makes that call. Now, so let's leave the guilty plea aside for just a moment. And surely that doesn't mean that we just ignore the rest of the chaos that was going on at the University of Idaho. The Moscow Police Department, the surrounding cursed ground. I mean, the entire area is infiltrated with money that's so dirty, you would need a power washer and a grinder to clean it up. I'm even willing to put all that aside for this video and limit it to the people who lived at the house at 1122 King Road. Now, we know, unfortunately, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee were among the victims at the house, plus Ethan, who was there visiting, and really Kaylee as well. She was a visitor. She had already moved out. Kaylee's dog Murphy was unharmed, thankfully, and found sitting on Kaylee's bed, waiting for her to come back. I mean, such a sad, sad thing, I'm sure. And that leaves two people that were completely unharmed in the brutal attack that left four corpses behind. They escaped without even a wound to their chins. Now let's pretend you were a kid in school. You could pick the grade, whatever grade you want to say. And the teacher told a story just like the one I just did, with all those details. And the entire class, if they were asked, who is the most likely person to be guilty of committing this crime? And they're going to say one of the two or both of the two that were unharmed, the two that are alive. A kindergartner would most likely come to that same conclusion, or a senior in high school. To treat it any other way is totally absurd. Now, even if law enforcement questioned both Dylan and Bethany multiple times and felt they were not involved in the physical attack based on documented phone records that shows them texting back and forth when the crimes were actually going on above, next to them, I mean, it must have been horrific. They heard the attacks. I don't care what Dylan claims about what she says she consumed the night before. She can't be up and down multiple times, opening the door, telling people to be quiet, hearing Kaylee playing with the dog, and seeing a masked man and being able to see the bushy eyebrows and all of that nonsense, and be so drunk that she didn't hear the butchering going on around her is simply not believable. Now, I'm sure the smiling kindergarten class would agree with me. Can you be in a frozen shock phase and that drunk at the same time? I don't know. I don't want to know. Now, we heard over and over again that Bethany had exculpatory evidence. It means that would have helped Koberger. What was that exculpatory evidence? Please tell us. How was that not required to provide to a man that had to literally sign his life away to the state of Idaho the other day? She's okay to go to Nevada and live her life, and he's stuck in a cell. And supposedly, she's got exculpatory evidence that would prove he was not involved, or at least would help his defense. Maybe he was part of a group. Who knows? But if the state is going to take lives away, they need to be more forthcoming with every shred of evidence, especially in a DP case. I mean, let's get the dirty laundry out in the courtroom, air it out, and let's talk about it, okay? The jury can hear your legal banter back and forth and look at the evidence and then decide for themselves what the decision's going to be. Doing it the way they did is just dirty business. It really is. And even dirtier than your nasty laundry, Bill Thompson. Now, we haven't even started on the 8-hour delay. That takes the insane absurdity to a whole different level. Originally, we were lied to in the PCA when we heard about the frozen shock phase. I mean, it was comical. I mean, you heard the little goofy commercial I did. It sounds ridiculous. Then the prosecution said to forget all about the PCA. Forget about it. They weren't going to use it at the trial. So the goalpost keeps moving around like you're playing football with your sneaky little sister in the backyard. Making up the rules as they went around with the monstrous media at their side, strategically dumping out documentary after documentary at precise times to really maximize it, making the defendant look really guilty. If I wasn't so jaded, I might actually think it was a strange coincidence. Idaho law says they can be sentenced to a year in prison for not reporting those bodies in their house or the crime. So why haven't they at least done that? I mean, what about the people they called? Mom and dad, boyfriends, who knows? We have records of calls and texts to parents that morning, hours before the 9/11 call was made. They were on a variety of social media platforms that morning as well, taking pictures, deleting pictures, editing pictures. What pictures were they taking? These guys are on TikTok and Snapchat. I mean, were they exchanging pictures of that crime scene? That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough. Um, I just don't, Dylan had the time to even add a contact in her phone and then use the Indeed job search application for some reason. I don't know. So, was there to be a reason for the delay? I don't know. They never went back to bed with the activity on both of their phones. They were all over those phones, so they were not uh, sleeping. Okay. Dylan talked to her father just a few minutes before the call was made. So was he somehow involved in this? Did he advise her or them how to do what they did? Anyone associated with these horrible crimes needs to be held accountable. For some reason, I honestly just feel like they've got him thinking there's no way out. And unfortunately, both sides just want it to stop, like it's, trial by jury would just blow holes all through the evidence against Kohberger. But they just got him boxed in. I think that's how he feels. And the grand jury even had members that didn't think there was enough evidence. He very likely could have walked if they had at least a jury of people with semi-intelligence. Semi-intelligence wins the day in this one. All they needed was one. So what do you guys think? Drop a comment below. It certainly helps the channel and lets me check out your input and your ideas. I'll be doing a live with A.R. Hayes tomorrow. That's Tuesday, July 8th at 7 p.m. Central. We're going to talk about lots of stuff, but if you've got, cases you want us to talk about, we're all ears. We'll just let you guys steer the ship. And then I'm going to be doing another live with Lee of Devil's Advocate on Thursday, July 10th at 7 p.m. Central. And we'll be having a feisty discussion on Little Idaho 4, some Travis Decker manhunt updates, and some interesting stuff he's got on the Gilgo Beach murders. So, should be good. I'd like to thank the membership here at the channel, the Horntie Club, and the Mayhem Squad. You guys are absolutely amazing. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody that watches these videos. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, drop a comment below, and I'll see you next time.